Hello everyone, Godzilla54 is my name and welcome back to the same video and the same review because I'm about to cover three more figures and I'll be done with it. Now I know this may be boring to you guys, but if you're still here, then let's go with the last figures that I'm about to review. So first, I'll introduce you one of our three main attractions. And this is Godzilla 1994 from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And that I really love this picture a lot because this is basically what this design Godzilla is from. And he's from 1994 film Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And the name of the suit was called Mendeso Goji. I think I pronounced it right. But if not, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to take a look inside of a card of a silhouette. And then here's the movie title, which is from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And then the movie monster series toy line. Now for the detail. So now, I'm going to lower down the arms. Now, I love this so much. I love it how they spent their time working on the eyes. Because they look like Godzilla's like he's having fire in his eyes. And I love it. But the teeth looks very good. But however, I noticed something weird going on in this figure because this part right here, right where my finger is, it's got a little paint on it, which I don't know what's the deal with it. No, but I'm gonna go along with it because it doesn't bother me as much. So now, the arms, man, aren't they fantastic? Oh man. And I love how those arms, they look like a little bit small, so that way when Godzilla is dealing with Space Godzilla, he gets close to him and smacks him. And then his chest is very big. It's kind of like when he was working out. And then right down to his legs. His legs looks very great. And it does look like one of my SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1994. But the paint on the toenails looks very great. However, this spot right here is the same problem as Godzilla's teeth going on. And I'm like, what is going on here? But I still love him. I still love this Godzilla. But that doesn't mean that he's my favorite Godzilla design. But now let's move on to the dorsal fins. The dorsal fins looks pure white. And I'm not kidding, because everything is so white that from the dorsal fins all the way to the tail. And it's not bad. I'm giving this like 8 out of 10 stars because this is very a good design of Godzilla 1994. And I like it how they gave him ears like that. If you haven't noticed. But let's go back to the tongue. Let's go back to the mouth. I don't know if you can actually see it, but we'll get there. There we go. So now the tongue looks very shiny. And I love it how they were painting on the mouth, and they are carefully placed the yellow teeth on all the way his mouth. Then here, moving on to the bottom of the feet. There's Toho Bandai. And his tail looks very long. And when I first got it out of the package, and I'm like, man, Godzilla's tail is so long that I'm holding it in my hand. Okay, so now that we're done with Godzilla 1994, and if you're still watching, and I hope it doesn't bore you, and I hope this doesn't bore you that much, because you have to tell me in the comments to tell me what's wrong with the Movie Monster series, because I know that some of you are, I know that some of you don't want to watch the Movie Monster series, and I don't know. I guess maybe you probably seen it before, or you don't think that video doesn't look good enough. But I'm just finishing 3 videos as I'm doing today. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to two more Godzilla figures, and it is the 1990. No, not. Oh, I'm sorry. 1984 Godzilla, also known as an 84 Goji. So now I'm gonna cover up this figure right here. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just thought I saw something, but we're good. All right. So now back to this figure. Here we have the 1984 Godzilla, or 1985, as I heard, and then called Godzilla 1985, because that's the American version, by the way. But this movie, it's called The Return of Godzilla. So this is what Godzilla's from. He's from the 1984 film The Return of Godzilla. Now for the card. Here's his card. And this screenshot looks amazing. And I'm telling you, I love it how they taken a picture of him that he's approaching the train right before he reaches Shinjuku and battle the Super X. So anyway, that's him in the background, and there's his name, both Japanese and English. And then here's the silhouette, and this part right here is blocking the way that I'm trying to open it. So this is how far I can go. Anyway, so there's the movie title, Godzilla, even though we all remember what it's called as Godzilla fans, The Return of Godzilla. Came out in 1984, again. Alright, so this figure reminds me one of those original figures that first released from the 50th anniversary box set. And what this figure reminds me of. Because I just really like to get my hands on that set and be like, man, I have a whole collection of monsters. Yeah, that's what I'd be like if I get the 50th anniversary box set. Okay. So the head sculpture, this head sculpture looks very nice. Very, very nice. And then his teeth look very great. And not to mention the tongue as well, that it's painted red or pink. Nah, it's red. Okay. And I love it. I really love how that he looks like based off of the movie. And look at the dorsal fins. And like, to me, I don't know what's going on with those dorsal fins, but until I realized that this is what the suit looks, this is what it's supposed to be based on the suit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then now down to the tail. And his tail looks so curved. And let me see. And I love it how they were painted all white and gray. I mean, yeah, just gray. And then the fingers looks looks kind of sharp, but even though it's not that sharp, but you get the idea. And then down to the legs. I love his legs, especially the feet. And they look so huge. Even like when Godzilla's foot that stomps across the street. And then he's ready to pick on some other monsters. And yeah, that's why I love this so much. Sorry about that, folks. I just had to tell my family to not be... I just have to tell my family to keep it down and not being too loud, because I'm about to finish recording this video for you guys. So now let's get back to the detail. One more thing I wanted to say about the Godzilla 1984 figure is that his eyes look so menacing, and it's just like from the movie when he opened his eye and then he gets up and roars at the crowd. Okay, so now that I'm done with the articulation, paint application, I'm sorry. Then let's go with articulation. So you can move the head around for 360 degrees. And then the arms cannot go around 360 degrees because his arms just goes right at the hip. And that goes the same thing on his arm. So they both can't go 360 degrees. But the legs, however, they do go around 360 degrees. The same thing with this leg. And that's pretty good. Pretty good. Now that I'm done with this one, I'm going to show to you the other figure, which is the same design as the 1984 figure. And this is the cybot Godzilla. Now, the reason why they call it cybot Godzilla, but first, I'll show you the picture of him. And this is him roaring. Then there's cybot Godzilla, both English and Japanese. Came out in 2024. Then this is his silhouette. And this is the same title as I showed you the 1984 Godzilla figure. And by the way, it's still called The Return of Godzilla. But however you want to call it, because it's got alternate titles, and which of these titles you would go for. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about is that this cybot Godzilla was actually a huge animatronic, which I don't know how tall he is, but I imagine that a guy right next to the animatronic that's like this big, and this is how big this guy is, right next to his thigh. So yeah, this animatronic is gargantuan. And if you're not familiar with this, you can actually type it out to call it the animatronic Godzilla from 1984, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the detail of this guy, in my opinion, he's not bad looking. But I mean, like, his eyes and his face, especially the whole body, looks skinny for some reason. Excuse me. And yeah, he's not that bad. And that's what I like about this. I like about his story about him being the animatronic, because I don't know how long will it take for them to complete the animatronic of Godzilla 1984, because this was meant to be like a close up feature. Like, for example, you bring the camera closer to the animatronic, and then he opens his mouth to make it look like he's roaring or using his atomic breath, or the way his arms move. But before we go to the articulation, let's go ahead and take a look at the dorsal fins. So as you can see, the dorsal fins look smaller than his dorsal fins. So yeah, his dorsal fins look smaller than this 1984 Godzilla, even though they look extra sharp. But this dorsal fins, however, it's not that very sharp, but it is what it is. And then down to the tail. So his tail looks a lot different than the 1984 Godzilla figure. So you kind of see how this is much different than the cybot Godzilla's tail. And plus his tail is way higher than the 1984 Godzilla figure. So, and they also gave him fangs at the front, which is he also has a little bit fangs in it, but you can see the differences, how his face looks like, especially the mouth. Okay, now for the articulation. His arms can go around 360 degrees, unlike the 1984 Godzilla. And same thing with this arm. And the legs would go around 360 degrees. So does this one right here. But you could also move the arm as well. Now, the last articulation was the head. And yes, it's still weird the way I could move around the head for about 360 degrees. But they're just toys. And they are worth it. And let's see about the tail. Nope, you can't move the tail as well. Okay. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna bring some other figures into this desk, and you'll be able to see how big they are compared to the other figures. And we're back. I bought some SH Monster Arts figures, and then later on I will compare them to the other figures that I have right next to me. So first, we will go ahead and bring out Godzillasaurus from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 1991. And let me go ahead and move this tag. Alright. Next, we are going to bring some of the SH Monster Arts here, which however, Godzillasaurus is not an SH Monster Arts figure, which I apologize. Then we're going to bring Super Mechagodzilla. Then we will bring Fire Rodan, which I'm going to hold him right now because he's not going to stand, but oh yeah, he can stand. Alright. Then we're going to bring two more that are from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And I will bring the main attraction here. Then here we have SH Monster Arts Little Godzilla. Then we'll bring Space Godzilla here. And sorry if I knocked down that airplane. Alright. Here you go. Here's Space Godzilla with Godzilla. Then we will bring the main attraction from the very first, from the very first SH Monster Arts line, the Godzilla 1994. And yes, they're both very good. And I love how they got the same eye colors, the same feet and the arms. And that's why I love this. I love this figure so much. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and bring two Godzillas here, which is the 1984 Godzilla and the cybot Godzilla, which I will get to that later because we're going to bring out some other monsters here that I previously reviewed. Then we got Mechagodzilla 1975. I'll just take the camera and move it back because there's no extra spot right here from where I'm sitting. Next, we are going to bring Titanosaurus. And then King Ghidorah. Excuse me. Okay. And finally, we'll bring out Gigan. And then we're going to move along with the cybot Godzilla. And I'll give him a size comparison to the other monsters. Now I'm going to bring back Anguirus. Sorry, Gigan was kind of in the shot. Then we're going to bring Gorosaurus. And then Varan. And then finally, Gabara. And don't worry, I'm going to take off the tags after I'm finished the third video. Now I'm going to bring back two more Godzillas on the set because this is what the third video is going to be. And there you have it. So I covered 3 videos today as I recorded the same day because now that I know what I'm going to call for 3 videos for one day. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope this doesn't bother you too much. Because I know how bored you are that you don't want to watch the Movie Monster series, that you would rather watch SH Monster Arts reviews, right? But I completely understand. It's your choice that you don't have to watch any my videos or their videos. But it is what it is. So for today, I've recorded 3 videos in one day. So I hope, and so again, I hope this doesn't bother you or this doesn't make you feel bored and then be like, oh, I'm tired of the movie monster series. But I know that I have plans for the Mechagodzilla 1974 DX figure, like the electronic of Mechagodzilla 1974. Man, that's gonna be that's gonna have to wait for the future because I'm trying to solve the problems about my status, about how many views I'm gonna get. So I hope you'll understand that. But it's okay if you don't want to watch it. So anyway, that's all I'm gonna say for today. And for the future, the hopefully I will get the Soul Chokuken DX Mechagodzilla 1974 electronic figure. But anyways, that's all there is for today. So take care, and I hope. So take care, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.